Just a moment. Yes, we are almost live. Let me just refresh the page. Yes, friends. So yesterday and previous classes, we have already started with our accounting process, and we have discussed the basic journal entries, and we have discussed trade journal entries, in which we have discussed in case if at all we get accrual, if at all we get do cash transactions or credit transactions in relation to goods. So today's session is completely in relation to accrual system, friends. Okay, in relation to accrual system, let us jump into the topic and start, ma. So let us jump into the topic directly, ma. So today's session is all about accrual system. Accrual system of accounting. Okay, so first of all, let me give you a glance about what actually is accrual system in simple terms. Okay, now friends, actually when we are doing accounting can be done in two ways, friends. Okay, two systems we can follow. First one is called cash system of accounting, and second one is accrual system of accounting. So first one is cash system and second one is accrual system. Now, what actually is cash system and what actually is accrual system? To do that, let me tell you where the difference arises between cash system and accrual system. Okay, the differences arises only for expenses and incomes, friends. The difference arises only for expenses and incomes. So what does it mean when it comes to assets and liabilities? There is no difference, friends. It is all same. Okay, only the difference arises between expense and incomes. Okay, now if at all we follow cash system, okay, how do we recognize our expense? Very simple. If at all we are following cash system says recognize your expense only if it is paid. Understand? It means if you pay an expense, then only you treat it as expense in your books, otherwise no. Then what about accrual system, sir? Accrual system says you please recognize your expense as and when it is incurred. If you incur, you recognize it as your expense. If you do not incur, you don't recognize it as your expense. Okay, similarly, cash system, what does it tell for incomes, my dear friends? Cash system says if you receive, you please recognize your income. It means if you do not receive, no income. Understand? But what your accrual system says is recognize your income if at all you earn it. If you earn it, you please recognize as your income. Otherwise, no. Right? So what actually is incurred, sir? Simple. Incurred is a situation where the liability to pay arises. It means when you are liable to pay, the situation where your liability to pay arises, you call that you have incurred the expenditure. Got it? Similarly, what is meant by earned, sir? I say earned if at all the right to receive is established. So what I mean to say is, friends, if at all you got the right to take the money, you say you have earned that particular money. And only when you earn, you can treat it under accrual system. Okay, now friends, now why should we discuss this cash system, accrual system and accrual system in a separate way? How is it so important, sir? I will tell you in few concepts. Okay, now friends, first of all, as per your fundamental accounting assumptions. As per your fundamental accounting assumptions, friends, you have going concern, okay, you have consistency, Okay, and then you have accrual. So what is this fundamental accounting system telling you is, by default I'll assume that you are following these three. Everybody on this earth, whoever are doing accounting, will assume that you are following going concern, you are following consistency, you are following accrual system. Friends, these three are by default followed by everybody. Understand? By default. So accrual system is something which you and me, even tomorrow when we are doing accounting, you have to follow, and you have to do your accounting only under accrual system, friends. It is so important. Got it? Accrual system only you are supposed to do accounting. Point number one. Okay. Second thing, so it is my fundamental assumption. It means by default, nobody assumes that you are doing accounting in cash system. Everybody assumes that you are doing accounting under accrual system. First one. Second one, as per your accounting standards. As per your accounting standards. Of course, friends, what are accounting standards? In our coming classes, we have a separate topic on that, friends. There we will discuss. In simple terms, accounting standards is a set of rules laid down which says how you have to do accounting. Set of rules, okay? In simple terms, accounting standards are nothing but a set of rules which actually elaborates and gives us information about how we have to do accounting. Got it? So that is what accounting standards. What accounting standards says, you know, even as per your AS1, you are supposed to follow, you are supposed to follow accrual system. As per accounting standards also, you are supposed to follow accrual system. Not only that, friends, even as per Companies Act, okay, Companies Act 2013, every company is supposed to do accounting, is supposed to present their accounts based on accrual system only. You are supposed to do the accounting based on accrual system only. Not only that, even as per your Income Tax Act, as per Income Tax Act also, you are supposed to do accounting only under accrual system. Got it? So there are a lot of reasons why we have to follow accrual system, and all these rules, you call them rules, you call them guidelines, you call them law, everything says you have to do accounting only under accrual system. Understanding, friends? Cash system cannot be followed so easily. Okay, cash system can also be done, but there you have to actually you have to justify the reason why are you following a cash system and why are you not following accrual system. Got it, friends? So for that, let me just explain you what actually is accrual system. As we have discussed, accrual system says you have to recognize your expenses only when it is incurred. Incurred means what, my dear friends? Liability to pay arises. Next, incomes you will recognize under accrual system only when you earn. Earn means what? Right to receive is established. Okay, sir. Let me take you through some examples so that you will understand a better manner. Okay, now friends. So first, I'll cover entire expenses first. Then I'll go to incomes. Got it? Now let us start, my dear friends. Now, when it comes to expenses, what I will take an example this way. As per expenses, imagine I take an example of rent. I will take an example of what? Rent. Now, rent, I made an agreement with the landlord for payment of rent. I made an agreement with my landlord saying that, sir, on 2nd of every month I will pay rent, sir. 2nd of every month I will pay rent. It means on the agreement, on the paper, you are promising that you will pay rent on 2nd of every month. Got it, friends? Now, understand this point very carefully. If at all on 1st of every month, are you liable to pay? No, you are not liable to pay, because as per the agreement, you have agreed to pay on 2nd of every month. I say I incurred rent expenditure on 2nd of every month, my dear friends. Got it, friends? Because the liability to pay, your pressure to pay actually arises on 2nd. On 1st, you need not pay. Even if owner comes and asks, give me my rent, you can say, please come on 2nd. Because on 2nd, only on 2nd, you are liable to pay, not on 1st of every month. Acceptable, my dear friends? So that is the case. So on 2nd, 1st I did not incur, I have incurred on 2nd. Now, if at all I say, 3rd did I incur, sir? I did not incur again. Why? Because incurring liability to pay arise only once in a month as per our agreement. Okay, liability to pay. For example, you say You have to pay your examination fees. Okay, yearly, how many times per semester, how many times you will pay exam? Only once, right? Only once you will pay. So incurring will happen only once. Depending on the agreement, you will be incurring. Okay, incurring is nothing but liability to pay arises. Got it, friends? In my example, as the agreement says 2nd of every month you are supposed to pay the rent, I will say on 2nd I have incurred. Got it, friends? This is the meaning of incurred. Again, incurred means what? Liability to pay arises. Liability to pay arises. If at all you are liable to pay the money, okay, you are supposed to pay the money. You have that job, you have that liability to pay, you say it is incurred. Got it, sir. Now let me take some examples for you, and I want to explain you the journal entries in relation to expenses. Got it? Now let me take you through some examples, my dear friends. Now example number 1, under for examples for expenses, example number 1. Example number 1 says in this way: I have incurred on 2nd. Okay, say 2nd of July. You have incurred. 2nd of July you have incurred, Okay, incurred means what? You are liable to pay. You are supposed to pay on 2nd of July, but you did not pay. You did not pay. Maybe your owner is out of station, or you are out of station, or your bank account is not working, or some other reason. On 2nd you did not pay. Okay, now friends, now imagine I paid it on 5th of July. I paid it on 5th of July. I paid it. Okay, now in this example, incurred on 2nd but paid on when, 5th of July. Now in this example, how actually cash system recognizes my rent expense and how accrual system recognizes my rent expense, that we will see. Okay, now friends, now let me take dates. Next, as per accrual system, as per cash system, as per accrual system, and as per cash system, how the journal entries, how the transactions will flow. That's what we will discuss now. Sorry guys. Now start. Now which date comes first, 2nd of July 2020. On this date, what is happening, my dear friends? You have incurred the expenditure. As and where, what is my accrual system telling me? Accrual system says recognize your expense as soon as it is incurred. That's what I told you. Recognize your expense as soon as it is incurred. If you incur, you have to recognize your expense. That's it. Understand? Now on 2nd, I have incurred my expenditure. I will write the expenditure, rent expenditure. I will say rent account debit. Rent account debit. I have incurred my expenditure, my dear friends, to rent account debit. Are you paying today? Are you paying today? No, I'm not paying today. I'm paying on 5th. You did not pay. You have incurred. The liability to pay arise, but you did not pay. Does it mean that after 2nd you need not pay? Does it mean that you need not pay after 2nd? You have to pay, whether you like it or not. You have to pay on after 2nd also. So what does it mean? Once you have not paid, you cannot escape from your liability. You cannot escape from your liability. That liability still exists, and we have to bring that liability into our books of accounts. Got it? And I call that liability as to outstanding rent. Some people also call it as rent payable also, you can say. Rent payable account also, you can say. Anything you can use. Anything. As per your choice, either outstanding rent or rent payable account. In any manner you can actually choose and write. Okay, now friends. So once again, you have incurred the rent on 2nd of July. That's why on 2nd of July, I am recognizing my rent expense as per accrual system, because accrual system says you have to recognize expense as soon as you have incurred. I incurred, I recognize my expense. But because I did not pay, that liability still continues. So I will recognize that my liability as to outstanding rent or to rent payable. Got it? But as per cash system, friends, there is no journal entry. Why is there no journal entry, Because why? Because I did not pay. cash system says you have to recognize your rent expense only when it is paid. Did you pay on 2nd? No, I did not pay. I have paid on 5th month. That's why I will not recognize it as on 2nd of July 2020. Done, sir. That day is done. 3rd July 2020. Are you incurring again? I am not incurring again, friends, because I already incurred. Liability to pay already arised on 2nd, and that's over. I did not incur once again, but that liability still continues. That's why no entry as on that date. Okay, I did not incur it further. Am I paying that day? No. Cash system says you have to pay, you have to recognize your expense only when it is paid, my dear friends. On 3rd, I'm not paying, so I did not recognize anything. Now, coming on to 4th of July 2020. Am I incurring again? No, I'm not incurring again. Are you paying on 4th of July? No, I'm not paying, so I'll not recognize anything as on 4th July also. Now, coming to 5th July. On 5th July, what is happening? You are paying. Now, what cash system says, my dear friends? Cash system says you have to recognize your expense only when it is paid. Now, you are paying na. Recognize your rent expense. As per cash system, I can say rent account debit. Okay, rent account debit to cash. To cash account. I will recognize my expenditure as just a moment, guys. Okay, I hope you will have a better view now. Okay, so just guys. Okay, so I will recognize my rent expense as soon as it is paid, my dear friends. See, what am I doing? On 5th of July 2020, I paid. So cash system says recognize your expense only when it is paid. See, I have paid, I have recognized it. But as per accrual system, use your logical sense and answer me. Are you incurring rent expense once again? Or already incurred expense, are you clearing off your liability now? Again. Are you incurring rent expense once again on 5th? Or are you clearing off your liability now? You are clearing your liability now because I already incurred it on 2nd. I already incurred it on 2nd. Now I am only clearing that liability and coming out of it. Correct, ma? So till now I said outstanding rent is my liability. Now I am paying it. When I pay it, what happens? Outstanding rent will be cancelled. So journal entry will be outstanding rent account debit, or even you can use rent payable also, ma, to cash. You are actually paying now, and when you are paying, you are not recognizing rent expense again because you have already recognized it, you have already incurred it. You are not going to incur it again and again. So that's why you are clearing off your liability. Got it, friends? So this is the journal entry when I can say this is where I have incurred the expenditure, but did you pay immediately? No. That's why I'll say incurred but not paid. I will say incurred but not paid. What is the journal entry, my dear friends? Rent account debit to outstanding rent, or any expense account debit to outstanding expense. Let it be for salaries or commission, whatever be the expense you take, same journal entry. Expense account debit to outstanding expense. And when you pay it, outstanding expense account debit to cash. Got it? Now let us see what is the end result of this accrual system and cash system. End result is, if you see, to outstanding rent is credited and to outstanding rent has been debited. Now one debit and one can credit. Both are opposite terms, right? You can cancel them. If you cancel, what is left over? Rent account debit to cash. If you cancel them, rent account debit to cash is left over. Now what is here in cash system? There also rent account debit to cash. Here also what is left over finally? Rent account debit to cash is left over. Here also rent account debit to cash is left over. What does it mean? Once the transaction is completely over, both accrual system and cash system both are equal. Both are equal. Understand? Only thing is, if the transaction is completed, say for example, I incurred and paid also, it means the whole transaction has been completed. I say then they both are same. If the transaction is not completed, they are not the same. Understand? I want to share with you one small example of why we should follow accrual system. Okay, with this I want to explain you. Imagine, as soon as I incur the expenditure, I have written rent account debit to outstanding rent. Correct, ma? Rent account debit to outstanding rent. As soon as I write this, my dear friends, what will happen? This outstanding rent will go and sit in my balance sheet on the liability side. Correct ma? And this will be a short term or current liability. Now what will this be? Current liabilities be telling us? It will be a reminder for the management. Oh my dear management, you have to pay, like creditors, like any other thing. This outstanding rent also will sit in the balance sheet and will keep reminding the management, you have to pay. So till you pay that money, that outstanding rent will still be in the balance sheet and will act as a reminder for you that you have to pay. Got it? It is like an alarm for you, like you are turning on an alarm saying that it will remind you whenever you see your balance sheet. Got it, friends? So that's one small example, one small way how accrual system will help us. But at the end, once the transaction is completely over, both are same. Both accrual system and cash system both are same. Guys, next, coming to the next one map. Now, let me take you on another example wherein I take it this way. Observe very carefully. Example number 2. Okay. You have incurred rent expense. You have incurred rent expense on, say, 2nd of July as usual. But owner came to you and much before 2nd of July, owner came to you and asked, sir, we want money urgently. We are going for some outstation. Okay, so we want rent amount little urgent. So can you pay me right now? He asked and he got your rent paid on 30th of June 2020 itself. It means 2 days prior to where you have incurred. 2 days prior to where you have incurred, friends. You have owner came and you even paid also. It means you are paying 2 days earlier to when you are incurring. You are paying 2 days earlier only, friends. Okay, now in this case, how the journal entries will flow, that's what we are going to discuss now. Now let me take once again, friends, dates, what will happen as per accrual system and what will happen as per cash system. What will happen about accrual system and what will happen in cash system. So what will happen, my dear friends, on 30th of June 2020, as soon as the owner comes and asks the money, you have paid it. As soon as you pay, what is my cash system telling me, ma? Recognize your rent as soon as it is paid. So on 30th itself, I will recognize my rent expense. Rent account debit to cash account. I will recognize my rent expense as soon as it is paid. I paid on 30th June. I will recognize it on 30th June itself. Okay, Nama. Good. Now, but as on 30th 6 2020, did you incur? You have not incurred, friends. But what is accrual system telling you? Recognize rent only when it is incurred. It means on 30th, you cannot recognize your rent expenditure. But the same expenditure you have paid in advance. You have paid it in advance, which I call it as prepaid rent account debit. It is not rent, ma, it is prepaid. It means paid in advance, right? Prepaid rent account debit to cash. I did not pay my rent. I paid rent in advance. That is what my prepaid rent tells me. That is what my prepaid rent tells me, friends. Got it? Now, moving further, friends, on 1st of July of July 2020, am I incurring? No. Because I incur on 2nd, friends. I incur only on 2nd. Okay, liability to pay arises on 2nd. But on 1st, I did not incur. Are you paying? You have already paid, na? Over. Now, on 2nd of July, what is happening, friends? You are incurring. And what is my accrual system telling us? Accrual system says, recognize your expense only when it is incurred. Now, on incurred on 2nd July, Nama. So, I will say rent account debit. I have incurred. So as soon as I incur, I will recognize my rent expenditure. Rent account debit. Now, till now you are saying you have paid, prepaid, you have paid. So now there is no point of saying that it is already prepaid, because the liability to pay already arisen. So your prepaid will decrease because the time to pay has already arisen. Correct, ma? So I say to prepaid rent. Okay, to prepaid rent. But what is the journal entry as per cash system? There is no journal entry because you have already paid and you have already recognized the rent expenditure, and cash system will never be bothered about when you have incurred. When you have incurred, it is never bothered, friends. It is only bothered when you have paid. Got it? But accrual, now you see, as per accrual system and cash system, now when the transaction is completed, it means you have incurred and you paid upfront, you paid and incurred also. Now when these two, when the transaction completes, prepaid rent account debit and prepaid rent account credit cancel. Now what is left over? Rent account debit to cash. Here also rent account debit to cash. It means once the transaction is completed, if the transaction is completed, both accrual system and cash system will give you the same results, but the transaction has to be completed. If it is not completed, accrual system gives you better information about your payables or receivables, or payables are already paid, prepaid and all this stuff. Got it, friends? That's why we follow accrual system. And this is the example for what, ma? You have paid, but on the day you have paid, did you incur? No, that's what I'm saying. But not incurred. But not incurred. What does it mean? You paid, already payment done, but on the day of payment you did not incur, but not incurred. Paid but not incurred. Okay now friends, what does it mean? Again, you have two situations. One is incurred but not paid. Second one is paid but not incurred. Incurred but not paid and paid but not incurred. Okay, Namma? Now, in these two scenarios, what actually is happening? Let me discuss that with you once again. So, in the first situation where incurred but not paid. Incurred but not paid. Now, in this scenario, what is happening? You did not pay. So, obviously, this will lead to a liability. This will create what, ma? A liability. Got it? And what is the name of the liability, friends? You are calling it as outstanding expense or expense payable. You can call it in any name, friends. Expense payable, outstanding expense or expense payable. You can call it in any way. Now, this is a part of liabilities, friends. Next, if you would have paid but not incurred, paid but not incurred, it means I've already paid, payment is done, but on the day of payment I did not incur. That will lead to what, my dear friends? An asset. It will lead to what, ma? An asset. And what is the name of the asset that we have discussed, ma? It is prepaid expense. It will lead to what, ma? A prepaid expense or expense paid in advance. You can call it in any name. Expense paid in advance. Either you can call it as outstanding prepaid expense or expense paid in advance. It can be anything. Understand? Incurred but not paid will lead to a liability because you did not pay. It will lead to a liability. And paid but not incurred, you are paying much before you have paid, you have incurred, it will lead to an asset. Got it, friends? Okay. That is about expenses, friends. Journal entries relating to expenses. Now, let us move on to incomes. Okay, this requires a lot of practice, friends. This requires some kind of a logical understanding. You have to put in your analytical skills, think properly, and then you have to gain the conceptual skills. Got it, friends? So, first journal entries in relation to accrual system, I have already told you. Okay, expense I told you. Now we will get into incomes. What is our about incomes? What it is telling us, ma? Just now we have discussed at the beginning of this class, friends. In accrual, what accrual system says? Accrual system says recognize your income only when it is earned. Earned means what, ma? Right to receive is established when you got the right to take the money. When you say it is your money and you have got the right to take the money, you say it is earned. One small example, friends. Imagine you are an employee. Okay, I'm not telling from business perspective. Just imagine you are an employee. You work for the entire month. Are you entitled to take the salary? Yes, because you have worked for the entire month, okay, without any deductions, you got the right to take the salary. Yes or no? Because you have earned it, you have to write the right, you have the right. Okay, now for you to clearly understand, friends, I would like to take an example and I want to explain you. Okay, now we are in a, for example, to explain about incomes. Imagine we are in a commission business, ma. We are in which business? Commission business. Wherein we make two big companies meet. Okay, we make deals between two big companies and we will take commission. Got it, friends? For us simply to understand. So that is the nature of our business. Friends, observe very, very carefully. Now, when I am into commission business, friends, imagine I made a meet between Infosys, okay, Infosys, and I made ICICI Bank to meet. Okay, I made these two banks to meet. I made these two banks to meet. Okay, in between we are there. In between we are there. Okay, Nama. Now this meet is all about a software development project. Okay, a software development project for ICICI Bank developed by Infosys, and the software deal is about say 10 crore rupees. Software deal is about how much ma? 10 crore rupees, and your commission that you will be earning is 5% of it. 5% is our commission, which will be how much ma? 50 lakh rupees. Yes, 50 lakhs is our commission. Big amount, right? Just for staying in between. Yes, friends, many companies these days, they are actually not into the business physically, but they do this kind of stuff and they earn a lot of money, friends. Okay, Nama. You have B2Bs, B2Cs, C2Bs, okay, government to business, business to business, business to consumers, consumers to business. Lot of such business modelings are working, right? Similar way. So how much is our commission, ma? 50 lakh rupees is our commission. Got it, friends? Now, for you to understand, I will take some dates and I want to explain you. Let us understand. What is today's date, ma? Today is 9th of July 2020. On this date, imagine the meeting has taken place. The meeting has taken place today. The meeting went on extraordinarily. Okay, where Infosys and ICICI Bank people, the delegates that they have come from these banks, they have become close friends. They are like dost now. Okay, cheddi dost. Like they became like cheddi dost now. Okay, very well. Agreement is almost confirmed. Agreement is almost confirmed. Okay, Nama, not almost. They said orally agreement is confirmed. We are going to do the project, but signing muhurtas and all this stuff will be done, Nama. So for that they have fixed that muhurtas on 11th of July 2020. They have fixed their agreement date. Agreement date. Okay, Nama. 11th of July they agreed to sit and sign the agreement. Now you tell me, friends, in which of these 2 days, 9th of July and 11th of July, in which of these 2 dates you can say that you have right to take the money, ma? After the meeting? No, because even after the meeting, if they cancel the agreement, something goes wrong and if they cancel their agreement, there are chances, right? For which I will never consider when the meeting completes. But when the agreement is over, yes, thereby your job is done. Your job is to see to that they both meet, they agree upon the terms, they make the agreement, they sign, and then they do their work. Your job is done once the agreement is done. I can say after the agreement is done, I have the right to receive the money. Obviously, I have the right to receive money. I will say on 11th of July 2020, I have earned, because my job is to ensure that you have signed the agreement and my job is done. My job is done. Got it, friends? So in this scenario, how will the journal entries flow? Let me explain you, friends. Let me take out few sheets of paper for you. Hello, let us start. Okay. Now in this regard, how will the journal entries flow? Okay, so earned means what? My right to receive is established. You have the right to receive the money. Okay, now in this case, how the journal entries flow? Let me take an example for you. As I was telling you, 9th of July 2020, meeting took place. 11th of July 2020, agreement has been signed. Agreement has been signed. Okay, and then imagine they paid me on 13th of July 2020. They paid me. It means we have received the money on 13th of July 2020. Okay, Nama. In all these 3 dates, when can you say you have earned the money, friends? You will say on 11th you have earned the money. On 11th of July 2020, you have earned money. You have the right to take the money on 11th of July, and you can say you have earned it on 11th of July. Correct, ma? In this regard, how journal entries flow? That's what we are going to discuss. Please focus carefully, friends. I will take the dates as it is. Okay, accrual system and cash system. Accrual system and cash system. How the journal entries flow. Friends, what is my accrual system telling me? Accrual system says you have to recognize your income only when it is earned. As soon as it is earned, you have to recognize. But what is my cash system telling me? Cash system says only when you receive it, you have to recognize as your income. Okay, na? So keep this in mind while doing the journal entries. Tell me, my dear friends, on 9/7/2020, did you earn? No, sir. Did you receive? No. So no journal entry on that date. Now, now coming to 10th July 2020, did you earn? No, sir. Did you receive? No, sir. Nothing has happened. Next, on 11th July 2020, did you earn? Yes, sir. I have earned it. I have the right to take the money, sir. Okay, no problem. So I will recognize that my income to commission income account. I will recognize my income as on that date. Friends, when you recognize your income, incomes will increase. Incomes increase, credit. By the way, friends, if you are not following the way that debits and credits, friends, please go back to my previous videos. The description of the playlist is given in the description below this video. You can go through that playlist, view all my previous videos, friends. I've discussed in detail how do you have to recognize the debits and credits properly and easily using modern approach. Friends, please don't miss that topic. It will be very easy and you will never feel a problem. You will never feel the problem while solving journal entries. Got it? So to commission income, I have recognized my income. But did you receive? No, sir. Will you receive? Yes, I will receive in the future. So because you earned, you got the right, and that right is your asset. And that asset name, I will call it as outstanding commission income. Outstanding commission income. Account debit. Commission account debit. Friends, don't get confused with outstanding income and outstanding expense. Okay, I want to give you a small shortcut. Observe here. The term outstanding means not standing outside. Okay, outstanding is something pending. Outstanding, the meaning says, simple terms, pending. Okay, outstanding can be attached with an expense also. It can be attached with an income also, friends. I'm talking about outstanding expense or outstanding income. Outstanding expense means what? You did not pay. You have to pay. So that outstanding expense will lead to a liability, friends. Outstanding expense will lead to a liability. But if same outstanding income, outstanding is attached to income, friends, it becomes an asset. This will show you receivable, friends. This will show you what? Receivable. But what is our outstanding expense tells us, friends? It is payable. So the same outstanding term, the meaning changes when it is attached with an expense or when it is attached with an income. If it is attached with an expense, it is payable, my dear friends. When it is attached with an income, it is receivable. Got it? Okay. So let me go through now. Now, observe this very carefully. Outstanding commission income account debit to commission income is my journal entry because I have to receive. I got the right asset is debited to commission income because I've earned it. I have recognized it as I've credited it. Okay. What is cash system telling us? Will you recognize your income as soon as it is earned? Never, sir. Only when it is received, I recognize. Okay, sir. Done. Now, let me go through the next dates, friends. On 12th of July 2020, are you receiving, sir? No. Are you earning? No. Are you receiving? No. No journal entries on those days. And then what about my next day, sir? Next day is 13th of July 2020. When it comes to 13th of July 2020, my dear friends, observe very carefully. Okay, what is happening? As per your cash system, friends, you have to recognize your income as soon as it is received. Yes, I am receiving it on 13th of July. You are receiving it. No problem. I will treat it as my income cash account debit to commission income. I will recognize my income as soon as it is received. I am receiving my income on 13th of July 2020 because I have received it. Because I have received it. But what about earned, my dear friends? Now, as per accrual system, also you are receiving. Okay. Now tell me, are you so I will say cash account debit. Now tell me, are you receiving a fresh income? Or already earned income you are receiving now? Already earned income you are receiving now. Correct, ma? Already earned. When you earn, you have recognized your income, okay, but you called it as your right to receive. Correct, ma? You call it as your right to receive outstanding commission income. But now you are already receiving. Now that right will decrease because it is already received now. So when asset decreases, credit. So to commission income. To commission income account, sorry, to outstanding commission income, sorry, to outstanding commission income, because you have already received it. You have already received it. Your right will decrease now. Got it, friends? This is how journal entries will flow when it comes to incomes. When this is example for what ma? Earned. You have first earned, but on the day you have earned, did you receive? No, sir, but not received. It means you are receiving it later. You are receiving it when ma? You are receiving it later. Earned but not received. This is the example. Sorry. Next, let me take the last example for the day, my dear friends. What last example for the day? Okay, accrual system requires some sort of practice, and I request you to please revise this video as many as the number of times that you can, and please ensure you are learning it properly. Okay, friends, and by default YouTube, what does it do is, once the live is completed, it will show the list of videos, actually live streamed videos, after 12 hours, friends. It means once the live streaming is done, okay, you will be able to see the same video in my channel tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock, 4 a.m. This will be available in the channel. If you want to view it much earlier, copy that link above. Okay, you have the link above, right, above your this one. So copy that link and then use that link to view it immediately also before that. Okay, within 12 hours it will be there on my channel also, or else it will, you can copy the link and you can view it any number of times, even right after the class. Got it, friends? Now let me take the example in this way. 9th of July 2020 meeting happened. Meeting took place. Okay, most probably this paper will not be sufficient. I'll take a new paper. Okay, so let me take a new paper. Okay, start. Now friends, meeting took place on 9th of July 2020. On this date, meeting has taken place. Your agreement has taken place on 7th of July 2020. Agreement has taken place. Agreement has taken place. But what happened, you know? You told the parties, boss, anyways you agreed upon, you became best friends, you will definitely do good job. Anyways you are going to sign the agreement, na? Please give my money upfront. Much before signing the agreement, you please pay me. It means you are requesting and taking the money on 10th July itself. 10th July itself, you ask them and you are taking the money. Understand? It means you have received the money on 10th of July itself, much before you have earned. When did you earn, ma? Once the agreement is signed, you have the right to take the money, and I say 11th of July you have earned. But when you are taking the money, you are taking it on 10th of July itself, you are taking the money. Getting the point, friends? So in this case, how the journal entries will flow? Observe this very carefully, friends. Observe this carefully. How is it done? Now let me take dates again. Accrual system. And then cash system. How the journal entries will flow. How the journal entries flow. Come on. Now, first date. It's the 9th of July 2020. Did you earn? No. Are you receiving it? No. On that day, not earning, not receiving, both are not happening. On 10th of July 2020, are you receiving? Yes, sir. You have received the money on 10th of July itself. What is your cash system telling you? Recognize your income as soon as it is received. Cash account debit to commission income. To commission income account. So you are recognizing your income as soon as it is received. You are recognizing. But as per accrual system, you cannot recognize income, friends. Understand? But you are receiving, namma. So because you are receiving, cash account debit is fine. Cash account debit is fine. But are you receiving your money? Do you have the right to take the money? No, sir. I don't have the right to take the money, sir. I don't have the right to take. I don't have right to take. In that case, you are taking something which is not your money. Obviously, there are chances that you have to refund it. There are chances. If there is a single chance, even 0.01% chance to refund, you call it as a liability. You call it as what, ma? Liability. It means here you are not receiving income, instead you are receiving a liability, friends, and you call that liability as commission income received in advance. Commission income received in advance. That is the journal entry that I'll be doing. Commission income received in advance. So what is this commission income received in advance, ma? A liability. Why is it a liability? Because you are receiving the money which you do not have the right to take. When do you get the right to take? On 11th of July, after the agreement has taken place, you have the right to take the money. But you are taking it much upfront. So it means on the day of receipt, it is not your money, still you are taking it. There is a chance for repayment. That's why you call it as a liability, friends. Now, let me go through next. Now, if at all, on 11th of July 2020, what will happen? Now, on this day, agreement has taken place. Agreement has taken place and you have the right to earn, you have the right to receive it. When you have the right to receive, you have to recognize your income. So I will recognize my income to commission income account. To commission income account. Okay, I will recognize my income now. But are you receiving now? No, sir. Will you receive in the future? No, sir. Already received? Yes, sir. Already received. Correct, ma? So when it is already received, I called it as my liability. Now, is it any more your liability? No, because you need not repay. Because you need not repay, your liability will decrease. If your liability decreases, what you should do, ma? Debit, obviously. Commission income received in advance account debit to commission income account. And as per cash system, there is no entry because cash system says recognize your income only when it is received. This is the best example for what, ma'am? Received but not earned. Received but not earned. It means, did you receive it? Yes, sir, I received. But did you earn on the day that you have received? No, I earned later. That's why I call this example as what, ma? Received but not earned. Got it, friends? So here also what is happening is you are, as far as incomes are concerned, for incomes also two situations are arising. What are those two situations, ma? First situation is earned but not received. Earned but not received. So when you earn but did not receive, friends, obviously this will lead to what, ma? Receivable. So it will create an asset for you. So we called it as what? Outstanding income. Outstanding income means receivable, or in simple terms you can even call it as income receivable also. Income receivable also you can call. Okay. My second situation. What is my second situation? You have received but not earned. On the day that you are receiving, you did not earn. Probably you will earn later. This will lead to what, my dear friends? This will lead to a liability. And what is the name of the liability we have given, ma? Received in advance. Income received in advance. Income received in advance. It creates to a liability. Okay. Now, if at all we try to put everything on the paper in relation to our modern approach chart, my dear friends, if at all I put everything on the chart and I actually analyze this, ma, how will this take place now? Observe this carefully. So already we discussed there are four types of accounts, right? What are those, ma? Assets, liabilities, expenses, and then incomes. Four types of accounts, and we subcategorize them into two categories. Assets and expense comes under payment category, and liabilities and incomes comes under receipt category. Receipt category. Okay, namma. Now these two come under debit, these two come under credit. This all of us we have already discussed in our previous class also. Now let us carefully analyze this, my dear friends. When you incurred an expense, but did payment happen? Payment did not happen. That's why this incurred expense will lead to liability, because payment did not happen. Because payment did not happen, this expense will lead to the opposite category. It will lead to a liability. What is the name of the liability we have discussed? Outstanding expense. Got it, friends? Now, imagine payment is done, but it is not expense. It is not expense. Obviously, when payment is done, this expense will lead to an asset. Will lead to an expense, lead to an asset. It means when payment is not done, it will lead to liability, opposite side. When payment is done and not incurred, it will lead to an asset. Okay now friends, similarly income, you earned it but did not receive. Earned it, you did not receive. Obviously it will lead to a right to take. That right to take is your asset. You have the right to take. So it means when receipt did not happen, obviously income leads to an asset, opposite side. It will lead to an opposite side. Similarly, when income you did not earn, but you have received it. You received it. Receipt happened? Yes sir, receipt happened. But did you earn the income? No. In that case, the income will lead to a liability, friends, because you have received it. Because you have received it, it will lead to a liability. Getting it, friends? So expense or income, when it is earned but not received, received but not earned, incurred but not paid, paid but not incurred. Depending on that, your assets and liabilities, outstanding expense, outstanding incomes, or prepaid expense or incomes paid in advance, these things will arise and will be shown in the balance sheet, and it will keep reminding you till you paid, till you pay or receive that. It will keep on reminding. Now friends, I want to discuss a very important point with you, that friends, as a series of these transactions, as a series of our classes, okay, we will be discussing tomorrow's session will be on some special transactions of journal entries, friends. Journal entries relating to some special transactions. Okay now friends, so tomorrow is going to be the last session for journal entries. Then day after tomorrow's class, we will discuss all the problems from your textbook, ICAI textbook. Okay friends, so please be prepared. You ensure that you keep your calculator, pen, book, a separate notebook for my classes. If you have not made notes properly, friends, please revise my previous videos. Link is in the description. All the playlist from beginning till here, till today's class, is in the playlist. Please ensure that you are revising those videos properly. Make your own notes and be ready. Okay friends, you in this channel you will get the entire series of accounting, law, economics and mathematics complete discussion, friends. Slowly, phase by phase, we will start other subjects as well. Okay, and ensure that you are subscribed to this channel and click the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever we come live or whenever we upload any YouTube, any video on the YouTube. And moreover, we will not only discuss about subject, friends, we will clarify a lot of your doubts also, like can I do BCom with CA or not? Can I should I do only CA or BCom after CA? Lot of questions in mind. What kind of people are suitable for CA? Am I eligible for CA or not? Lot of frequently asked questions from the students, friends. We will be clarifying your doubts, and not only that, we will give you a lot of updates as and when it is released by ICAI. We will put you on your notification bar. Please subscribe and click the bell icon. Thank you so much, friends. We'll meet you tomorrow in next class of journal entries relating to special transactions. Have a nice day, friends. Thank you. Don't